Hello students, in today's class, let us learn about different modes of heat transfer. So from our lower classes onwards, we had learned about three different phenomena through which heat is transferred: conduction, convection and radiation. So these three are observed in three different medium. For example, conduction is observed in solids, mainly in solids. Convection phenomenon is observed in liquids and gases. And radiation is observed in places where no medium is observed. A combination of all these three are present in almost every situations that we see. For example, in this situation where we heat a stove, we can see these three processes happening. Now let us study about each of these. In conduction, there is no actual movement of the substance. For example, when a vessel is being heated, you can feel the temperature even at the other end. So from the lower part of this vessel, heat is being transferred to this part. That is actually through the process of conduction. Here, when a vessel or any solid material is heated, the molecules will start to vibrate because of this heat energy. It will pass on its heat energy or the vibration energy to the next neighboring atom, and it will pass on its energy to the nearest neighbor and so on. So in a progressive way, heat will be transferred from one end of the medium to the other end. So that is what is happening in the conduction phenomenon. That is why this is prominent in the case of solids. This requires no movement of molecules. And we know in solids, molecules are held tightly. In the process of convection, there is actual movement of heated particles. So it is prominent in the case of liquids and gases. For example, we know how the water boils. Here, the heated water from the bottom of the vessel will be moving up, and the cold water from the top will be replacing the low density water in the bottom. In that way, there will be a circulation of water molecules within this vessel, thus exchanging heat. So this is the process that is happening in convection. The molecules itself will be moving around, exchanging heat, and thus mixing up the heat energy. This phenomenon is observed in breezes, sea breeze, land breeze, winds, etc. There is actual flow of the medium in the convection process. When we come to radiation, it requires no medium. Here, the heat is transferred in the form of radiation or electromagnetic radiations. For example, IREs. So the light rays that is coming from the sun carries heat energy in the form of radiation. And radiation is the process by which heat is transferred from sun and other stars to earth or any other place. So this requires no medium, and hence free space can carry this heat energy. So these are the three phenomena through which heat is transferred in solids, liquids or no medium. Now, having known about these three phenomena, let us try to define the term coefficient of thermal conductivity, and let us try to develop a formula for this term. So to understand about that, let us consider a solid through which heat is being transferred. Suppose this material has a thermal conductivity K. Now assume that the length of this material is given by D, or say X. Suppose let us assume this is X. The cross-sectional area of this material is A. As you can see, this is the cross-section area. And suppose the temperature at one end is given by, say, theta 1, and the temperature at the other end is given by, say, theta 2. Now, let us try to formulate an equation for the quantity of heat that is conducted from this end A to the end B. Now, what are the parameters on which this quantity of heat that is being conducted through this solid will depend? So let us define a term called Q. Q stands for quantity of heat. Now, surely this quantity of heat will be proportional to the cross-sectional area. It is obvious that if this material has higher cross-sectional area, more heat will be transferred to this material. If it is of a lower cross-sectional area, say it is a thin wire, then of course heat will be transferred slowly. So Q will be directly proportional to E. And what are the other parameters on which this conduction of heat Q will depend? Surely it will depend on the difference in temperature, right? So you know, if we keep the end of a metal rod in a hot object, then heat will be transferred very fastly. But if it is kept at a slightly higher temperature only, then the heat transfer will be slower. So it is obvious that the rate of transfer of heat or the amount of heat that is being conducted through this material will be proportional to the temperature difference given by θ1 minus θ2. Now given this material length will also have an effect on this value Q, and that dependence will be inversely related, because if this length is higher, then the rate of transfer will be lower or the quantity of heat that is conducted will be lower. So we can say that this Q will be inversely proportional to the length of the material, which is 1 by x. And now this will also depend on how much time this material was in contact with A and B. If we keep this system for a longer time, more amount of heat will be able to travel through this rod or this material. So we can say that Q will be also directly proportional to the time during which we keep this setup. So overall, these are the various parameters on which Q will depend: the cross-sectional area, temperature difference, the length of the material, and the time during which we actually make that contact. So I can say that Q is directly proportional to area into temperature difference multiplied by the time divided by the length of the material. Now I have put together all the parameters that actually determines the Q value. So Q will be proportional to all these terms, and Q will be equal to a constant into these terms. This proportionality constant that we introduce here, this is called the coefficient of thermal conductivity. So how can we define coefficient of thermal conductivity? We can say that it is the amount of heat transferred in 1 second per unit cross-sectional area across a material of unit length when we keep it at a temperature difference of unit Kelvin. So thermal conductivity is defined as the amount of heat flowing in 1 second across the opposite face of a cube of side 1 centimeter maintained at a temperature difference of temperature of 1 degree Celsius or 1 Kelvin. So that is how we can define K based on all these. A has to be unity, θ1 minus θ2 has to be unit, then T has to be in 1 second, X should be 1 meter or 1 centimeter should be unit value, then Q will be equal to K. That is how we could define the coefficient of thermal conductivity. Now related to this concept, we can also study about the concept of temperature gradient. So just like any other gradient that we define, temperature gradient is the fall of temperature with respect to distance. So I can define θ1 minus θ2 divided by x. So this is the fall of temperature with respect to distance, right? So this is the temperature gradient. Or more accurately, we can define it like d theta by dx as the temperature gradient. So that these two quantities are same, one and same. So that the earlier equation Q can be rewritten as K into A into d theta by dx into T. Now this this d theta by dx is normally a negative quantity because we know as we move farther away from the source of heat, temperature falls down. So T falls down as x increases, or theta falls down as x increases, and we can say that d theta by dx is normally a negative quantity, and to counter that negative value, we put an additional negative value here. So we can write q equal to k into a into minus d theta by dx into t. Now as an assignment, you can find the dimension of k. What will be the dimension of k? In the equation we know the dimensions of all other quantities q, a, theta 1 minus theta 2, t and x are all known quantities whose dimensions are known. Based on that, using dimensional analysis, you may find the dimension of the coefficient of thermal conductivity. So that's all about different modes of heat transfer and coefficient of thermal conductivity. I hope the portion is clear for you. Thank you.